Hey everybody! So Blizzard has been updating the player UI, or just the WoW UI in general, over the course of the alpha and the beta. Slowly but surely, each week they've been adding in something new. So I should say that this isn't finished, and there are going to be still additions being made, and there's definitely some suggestions that people are going to have. But they are updating the UI, and just immediately, right? Like if I just kind of go on to show you a little sneak peek if you haven't seen it yet, but if I go on to just the default UI, right? This is how it is when you log into the game. But immediately, you already have your triple action bar. Everything's like stacked up, right? Whereas if you think of current WoW, you have your bar, and then you have like an additional sidebar with like 6 abilities or something like that that you can keybind. But now they've condensed everything. They moved it into a block. And then from there, you can actually move this around completely. You have your 2 action bars on the right-hand side. You still got your mini-map. They've actually changed the mini-map. They made it bigger, a bit easier to see the direction that you're going in. Kind of removed some of the clutter and stuff, so you can do like your tracking bar and open up the calendar and stuff. But it's nice and kind of hidden. It's nice and reduced in clutter. So the actual edit mode itself, then. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can move around, and it's very nice and easy to do this. I know I'm somebody who messes with the WoW Blizzard like frames, and people always say on on stream stuff, when I load into a raid and I have my party frames, people always like make fun of me and are like, oh my god, this UI is terrible because I have my bars like this, and you can like adjust the height and stuff like that, but I have my bars like this for my party, and then when I go into a raid, it's 40 or 20 people in this kind of style, and it fills up my whole screen. It looks terrible, but it's really nice now. You can have, you can move your party frames around. You can adjust the height, the width, all that kind of stuff. You can do the same with your raid frames. You can move those. You can have a bunch of options for selecting those. You've got your focus target frames, so you can move those around. Obviously, if you wanted them like more centered in the middle of the screen, you can do something like this. Have your player frames there. The only complaint with this thing is that there's not like a snap function. It doesn't snap and try and like fit in between blocks. You do have to line things up very, very carefully to make sure things are like nice and evened out. Then you can move your buffs and debuffs, which I've been messing around with on my Feral because I've been trying to adjust. So I can see when my Apex procs are coming in and not I have Fearful Symmetry, which is nice. So you can move your buff frame around. I would like with the buff frame, and there's also the debuff frame, but I would like with the buff frame if you had the option to separate out specific buffs that you wanted. So I don't know how that they would like kind of feature this into the current UI, but some way of kind of like a search function, and then you could individually select certain buffs and move them and separate them out. So say you're playing like Enhance, for example. When I play a bunch of Enhance, I really dislike having to track my Hailstorm procs or my Hailstorm stacks, and then also, I'm getting procs of this and that and everything that I'm not really as concerned about tracking per se, but I can't move them away from the general buff. So I would like to see something like that being implemented so that you could choose which buffs you wanted to move around. But this is really quite cool. You have things like your stance bar, if you're like, I guess, a warrior and stuff like that. You have your pet bar as well, so you can move that around. Say you wanted to move your, your action bars, whatever reason you wanted to move them over here, you absolutely could. And you can have your pet frames, pet bar there as well, So you can completely customize everything, and it's really quite nice. And then you have boss frames as well. So my boss frames are normally over here. I would actually want to be moving them now closer in, and you've just not been able to do this kind of stuff with the default UI, so it's really, really nice that they're doing this now. Ooh, you can even have larger frames. I don't know that I'd necessarily do that, but it's kind of good. You got your encounter bar, your extra abilities and stuff as well. This is like a little bit scuffed because of the placement of my frame, so I probably have to adjust some of this. The talking head, so when you're doing quests and stuff, you can see where they would pop up. Probably move it there, nice to the side. And your vehicle exit button. So they're adding to this like every single week. When this first started, they didn't have anywhere near as much stuff as this. And you've also obviously got like now the new updated player frames as well. But you can even compare the old and the new together, which is quite cool. And you can see like the massive difference. And I think at first any change to a UI, of course, because it's your user interface, it's going to be weird. It's going to be strange. But I think a lot of this stuff will grow on people. But I think just the ability to move things around so easily without any add-ons and stuff like that is really, really nice. The other thing as well is the chat frame. Chat frame is a little bit awkward actually to mess around with. Like, I don't know about you, but like sometimes, you know, I'll be on stream and I'll be like, oh guys, look at the thing. I'm playing Wrath of the Lich King. You can see what role I get on this piece of gear or something. And I'll drag this up, but it's locked behind the if you're not in the edit mode, right? If you're not in the edit mode, you can't move it around. Whereas before you used to just have like a nice unlock button, so now you have to go into your edit mode, you have to manually move it, then you have to save it. So that's a very, very minor thing for me, but you know. You can also mess with like the grid spacing as well if you want to line things up better that way. Which is good. But yeah, some kind of snap function would be good. They're also updating other things. Okay, we didn't get lucky there with any schloot. But they're also updating, yeah, the loot window. So this has now been changed and altered, and depending on how many items you loot, it'll actually expand out. And you get to see it's like a bit of a new UI design. Also, when you select something, if you have like multiple items that have dropped, then you can like as they're going into your bags, they start like I don't even know what the word is, but they kind of start like flying off to the sides. They have a nice little graphic, which is kind of cool. But yeah, that's kind of just like the UI changes, a lot of stuff that's being covered. Things that could still be changed is being able to move your experience bar. You can't yet move the experience bar. You can't yet move your bags and your bottom right-hand side stuff. So that still needs to be shifted or like be able to be moved. Another little thing as well, which is in like kind of like your options, they've added, see if I can find it. Combined bags. Yes, there we go. So now, I'm sure many of you have like a combined bag week or add-on or whatever, but now you can have like a nice Blizzard combined bag, which is cool. Because it's like, for me, a lot of this stuff it's got the Blizzard design, the Blizzard graphics. It's the Blizzard detail that I like. Like, I can use LVOI, but everything's just like jet black. And I'm like, this looks way too just painful to look at, in my opinion. But you know, with the nice like Blizzard kind of design, you got the little wings and stuff on each bag, so it's kind of nice. But yeah, so you can mess around with that, and then of course there's like you could assign different bags to different things, and you know, clean up your bag and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, some good stuff. But that's all I wanted to kind of cover today, is just some various stuff with the new UI. It looks quite exciting. I hope they're going to keep iterating on it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.